Oh, look at that.
Okay, now, technically speaking, I just want to warn you, don't say anything crazy right now. I mean, the microphones are on even during this section, as we've learned.
Yeah, it's questionable.
Right? And then, obviously, when the foam recedes, become your best selves. All right, how are we feeling?
Hello.
Are we feeling correct? Oh, here, now there's a whole litany, as I suggested before. So let me do the litany. Let me invite you into our mystery, just as we invite the channel itself. Hello, I am your internet friend, Jerriford K. Horcrims. And however it came to be, you've fallen ass backwards into Twitch's brewing program, Acquisitions Intoxicated. I am joined, as almost always, by Eric J. Benson, Acquisitions Intoxicated Brewmaster, although it's entirely possible you know him by another name. For example, Edge Benson, the notorious EJB, Azerbaijan, on very rare occasion.
Like once. Fucking once.
The purpose of this program, the noble purpose, is to give you that which you already own. The art and science of brewing. I went into this last night. Anyway, we have with us in our sacred studio representatives of New Belgium, emissaries of the vaunted Voodoo Ranger himself. Introduce yourselves, Patrick and Matt, to the throng.
Yeah, I'm Patrick, community manager for Voodoo Ranger, as some might say Voodoo Ranger itself.
The very icon?
The one you see in chat. The one you see in chat.
How about this, the avatar?
Yes.
The bones have been taken off. Right? You know?
Lost the gold tooth somewhere.
I gained some skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But the one in chat that you see, that would be me.
Oh, this is marvelous. Okay, from now on, I will recognize that humanity behind the text.
Yes.
And inform them.
So yeah, I'm Matt. I'm Matt Gilliland, and everybody calls me Matty or Matty Smooth.
Matty Smooth?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
It is-
How many people
impressive.
call you Matt? Like actually call you Matty Smooth?
All of us.
A better question is how many
Matty
people actually
Smooth
call me
from now
Matt.
Really?
Yeah.
All of us call him that, yeah.
Matty Smooth?
Yeah.
No, did you? Is this something like you suggested to others? You know, there's another great name you could call me.
No, an old brewing buddy of mine named me so, like 20 plus years ago, and it's just stuck. I can't get away from it.
Yeah, it has like.
How do you, you don't want to get away from it. What are you talking about? That's like the coolest shit ever.
That richness.
Yeah.
Every year, I'm like, this year I'm going to be an adult. I'm going to get rid of the nickname, and then people come out of the woodwork.
Oh yeah, like when you go to high school and it's like, oh no, I'm Jonathan now. It's
No.
like you gotta take it up market.
People like Matthew. I'm like, no. But anyway, I am the brew house manager at New Belgium Brewing, and I'm a big fan of PA.
Oh yes, this came up last night during our Norse feast.
Yes, which was delicious.
Absolutely, there was a father period where pictures of children were exchanged, and that's bound us.
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Inexorably.
Exactly. Oh, this
Definition of a
this
Viking
fucking
feast.
inexorably. This fucking guy. All right, now, so it should be established firmly here at the beginning that we do everything we can on the program to adhere to the hero's journey. Obviously, there's a rich natural arc, and typically it begins by taking the contents of these sacks and introducing them here to our sacred crucible. And so you were saying before the show, so you guys actually had a Pico out at New Belgium for a time?
Yeah, in
the
fact,
old one or the Z?
it was the old one.
Yeah, that one that looks like it was made in someone's garage.
Right.
Yeah.
But they kind of sent it to us to like prototype and beat it up and check out the software and stuff. And we made some pretty good beer with it. And it was good. And we put it inside of our pilot brewery, which is inside of our main brewery. So
Pilot within a pilot.
yeah.
Exactly.
Do we still use it?
No, we ended up using it for a while and sending it back. And
Okay.
They got the feedback they wanted. So.
21 pilots. So what's the situation like when you actually do a test brew? Like what's the volume on your test brews?
So we have a 10 hectoliter system.
A what?
A 10 hectoliter system.
Is that?
That's the
Yeah,
pilot.
we use all SI units, so
okay.
everything's
It's all international.
right.
Pervert
So that's
shit.
about like 9-ish barrels or so.
Okay.
And 3 vessel system. We can do all kind of mash rests, and we have a separate lauter, and then we have a bunch of 10 hectoliter fermenters and a few 20s. So for this, we actually did a double batch back to back. And made 20 hectoliters and then canned it all because the thirsty people at PAX need us to.
Well, no, exactly. And their thirst is dark. I mean, having experienced it, and certainly if you've ever been to the show, and you know perfectly well because we've done after parties and stuff before. That's like, it's like another convention that exists at the convention. Like here at West, it's obviously the Sheraton bar.
Yep.
Like that's the next con that occurs after the con.
East is the Westin, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like the long con for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll focus on it. Well, here, listen. Should we just start the ritual as it stands right here?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. All right.
Dark incantations away.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Mr. Benson, what have you brought for us from our friends at Micro Homebrew?
So this is crude oil. I believe we made this for the orcs. Yeah? Does that
Yes,
sound right?
yes. So we were in our wargaming state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's take a let's.
So the point was to make
Yeah.
an American strong ale, one, because they're hardy orcs, but also two, because they needed to be able to brew something minimally, but also, with what they could find around them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that smells good.
So we always try to put, especially when we're trying to make something that's like an artifact of the game, we want it to have, we want to try to make something that is like conceivable. We want to like, investigate the fantasy of the fantasy spaces through something you can actually drink or eat.
So that is mostly 6-row.
Yeah,
And-
we like I said, we're like on a weird wheat kick right now. That
So
thing's
it's
almost
all
full.
6-row and just a little bit of chocolate for color and maybe a smidge of roast.
It smells really good.
Do they mix that for you there? Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Oh, you can do it yourself. Before pre-pandemic, you'd go in and you just do it all. They have a grain mill, and you could just mill it yourself.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, we're talking about like some master brewer, world-class shit here. My hands are beginning to shake even now.
Yeah.
As I think about it's like well, yes, we make. It's an inconceivable story. It's like, yes, we make accidental brews using poll systems on Twitch. I mean, I hope you'll be impressed. I hope that. So look at the rest of this recipe over here.
No, that's it. I mean, so
Tell me if it's crazy.
Fuggles is the main hop that we're going with, and we wanted to see what Tomahawk would do because of their weapons. What it would do at the end for aromatics.
Sometimes there's a lexical aspect.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a new trend to use CTZ hops, which includes Tomahawk as an aroma hop, because it was developed as a bittering hop exclusively. But
It's so big.
Yeah. High alpha. That's.
Yeah.
I've had some smash beers that were made with Tomahawk.
Oh,
That are
interesting.
kind of interesting. And if you want a more dank beer and use a lot of Tomahawk, you can get that earthy, catty, kind of oniony, garlicky thing out of it.
Oh, hold on. Now come back to Caddy.
Caddy.
Tell me about Caddy.
So caddy is, some people say off flavor, some people say a desirable flavor.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. It's like the like when the line is bad, sometimes you can get like a pleasant sour vibe depending on the beer.
But that is totally unintentional, right?
Oh, okay.
So caddy is a hop-derived aroma. It's a
Ammonia?
polyfunctional thiol. And it comes from kind of mistreating the hops a little bit in the processing.
Hop abuse?
Yeah, hop
Oh,
abuse.
no.
It's true.
Somewhere in the process, like they get bruised or something?
So when they go into the kiln, it's the ones that are exposed to the most heat, if it's not an even kiln or whatever, because they have to dry them immediately after they're picked, or they go
absolutely.
bad terribly.
Yeah. I have some on my fence, and these are very fragile, gentle creatures.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. They're taint.
If you will.
Sorry, that was the wrong word. Wow. Sorry. They are timid.
They have a taint.
Yeah.
We're learning a lot about hops today.
Don't abuse that part of them.
January. I met January last night.
Yeah.
All right, here. So which?
In the first bin, you're putting that whole bag of Fuggles in.
Oh well, easy peas.
Yeah, Fuggle off.
I got the whole device ready to go.
Yeah, so the dank IPA is a little bit of a trend now, where people kind of blend the aromas for weed and beer.
Yeah, it seems like cannabis is at the apex right now as a flavor note.
The worlds
So,
are extremely
Matt-
combined.
Yeah.
Atravinica really threw you under the fucking bus.
Whoa.
As nice as you were to him last night, he said you now have to sing to the grains instead of Jerry.
Do you got pipes? Maddie
I don't
Smooth.
have pipes, man. Come on.
I mean, with a name like that, you should.
Yeah, I was Maddie Smooth. I mean, with a name like Maddie Smooth, I'm expecting a mixtape at
Yeah,
least.
at least a little Belle Biv DeVoe or
Well,
something.
yeah, exactly.
or
That girl is
Boyz II
Poison.
Men.
Yeah. ABC, BBD. I mean,
I would flip it, slap it, and rub it down. I don't know.
well, here we have the whole afternoon. Right now, in terms of the, oh my goodness, that's wonderful. This is the CTZ
Ooh.
Yeah.
blend. I got that.
Oh, I've got it.
You know about it?
Oh, I know
It's
it.
in there?
Yeah.
It's like there's a cheesy, almost like a gym sock richness.
The descriptions of our flavor profiles are a little to be desired.
Yeah, we don't really,
Catty. The cat piss.
compared to other industries, we really don't have
Black
the best.
currant is the other side of cat piss. That's what you would
Oh,
call
that's-
it in nice words.
If you liked it,
yeah.
if you were into cat piss, you would ennoble it. Here, so what do we got?
Quarter of an ounce.
Quarter
You don't
of
need a
an-
lot of that stuff in
No,
there.
that's
No.
a little bit goes a long way for sure.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
Oh no.
Incredible.
You hit it on the head?
Just a sprinkling. Just a sprinkling. All right. Here we go.
You won the hop weighing lottery.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I assume in your context, it's like sacks.
Boxes.
I mean, yeah, full
Sacks.
boxes.
Oh, yeah. And then there's like a backdraft of hop dust, I assume.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of brewers develop a hop allergy from breathing that dust all the time.
Wow, really?
And yeah, I have it for sure. I'm allergic to hops, which is a terrible.
Oh, so I should
terrible
stop
thing.
trying to shove them into your nose?
No, I mean, I can manage, but
So, but I mean, I saw you. I mean, I'm not gonna. You didn't. Obviously, it was responsible. But I'm saying you can drink it. Do you like minimize your intake, or are you just like, hey, this is like I love cheese and I'm gonna shit all night, and that's
different varieties
Like a
have
lactose
different
thing.
amounts of the compound that people actually develop an allergy to.
oh, okay.
And so I got to the point where I can kind of smell it. If it's really strong in some beers, I know I'm just going to blow out my O-ring if I drink
Wow.
There's gonna be a
affects you
There's gonna
like
be a
cheese.
situation.
Oh no.
it. It's going to be a situation.
No,
We call it a situation.
Yeah, as you go. So my sister is a chef, and she can't eat wheat anymore.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Right?
So sad.
No, I know. It's like wheat is in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like she has been like basically a professional chef, like working full time since she was 17
Wow.
on hot lines, and now she can't eat a really fundamental part of civilization. Right? It sneaks up on you.
Or drink it.
Or drink it. Yeah, exactly. Now it's but she was fine on that. She was more of a whiskey girl anyhow. All right,
You're good to go.
here we go. Oh, it's typed in.
Ooh.
Yeah, Christine in chat mentions that she has a family member that is intolerant to yeast, which I also have that.
Jeez.
Which is really
You got the
unfortunate.
double whammy.
Anything you're not
What are you
allergic
doing
to?
in
at this
beer?
point?
What the hell?
Yeah, I went to an allergy specialist, and he's like, I can count on my hand like how many people in 30 years that have both of those, and you're one of them.
Wow.
And I was like, so what do I do?
And
He's
you're
like,
around it all fucking day.
all fucking day. Well, I don't drink pints of yeast anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, good move. Solid strategy.
It's chock full of B vitamins, you know?
All right.
So, like, what about like pizza and like?
It's minor enough that
Food.
kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, once the yeast is cooked off, it's live yeast that really bothers me.
Okay.
Just chugging live yeast.
Yeah.
I've done it. I used to do that as kind of a stunt.
Well, then,
Well, we've certainly
True,
done
true.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like Brenna, my wife Brenna, when she was pregnant with the kids, like that was something her mom had done. Her mom was like mega like 70s, like hippie mom.
Oh, yeah.
Putting back that brewer's yeast for the B vitamins.
That's funny.
It's hardcore shit.
It is hardcore shit.
But the Z is a little bit nicer version of that original Pico that you guys had in the in the test.
A little bit different, a little bit more polished.
A little bit hardier, better UI.
did you just have to get a second Pico? Or is this
Yes.
the original? Okay.
No, not the Z. This is the original Z we got.
Okay.
We had to get a second Zymatic.
Yeah.
But I know a couple people. We all know some people over there. But there were one of the guys in the customer service department that handled all the user errors that might have happened with the Z. He's like, it was virtually always a user side error. The machine never really breaks down. Like the improvements were so great over the Zymatic that it's a powerhouse.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I say, it's definitely a big jump past. And of course, I mean, it wasn't enough to rescue them, I guess, because they had to sell all their IP in the business. Right. But the back end, they've said, is available indefinitely.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very, very good for this show. But the truth is, that space there's a couple other offerings in there.
I mean, that was an untapped market, literally.
Yeah. I mean, Kickstarter started a few of those things. They had one of the first really good e-watches was a Kickstarter thing. They've sort of founded a couple weird industries there at that tier. All right. Okay. So as we have said, the device, even now, the Crucible is in operation. Soon we will smell it. Right? It will be redolent and life will be improved. The next part of the hero's journey typically is where we try one of our previous experiments. And
I'll try a real beer first.
Yeah, is that good? Well, what beer would you suggest there?
I have no idea. I don't know what we should try.
Well, I know exactly what we should try. And we have 4 glasses here.
Oh, look at that.
Do we have a picture of the beer we're going to be opening?
We do. We can grab that.
No! Jesus, don't do it. They've got it lined up.
Oh, sorry.
Holy shit.
No, when I heard the picture, I was like, listen, I want to be helpful. I want to be a very helpful engine.
There it is, everyone. How freaking cool is that?
Yeah, so our good friend, obviously, Chris Straub, who is going to be running the Acquisitions Incorporated game at Yeast.
Nice.
In addition to this incredible skill, he can also draw and sing and play guitar and, I assume, dance.
At the same time.
Yeah, it's this motherfucker. It's rude.
While drinking a beer.
It's rude. Anyhow, now that we have it dialed in, it really seems like we should jump in. Now, let's not prime ourselves with information about the recipe before we do it.
Okay.
Let's just go in cold.
Perfect.
Right?
Now you can have one.
Optimally ice cold. But here, so as a brew beer professional man.
That is my title.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I saw your card. I mean, that's why I knew. So is there I'm my hand is shaking. I'm trying to figure out, is there a way that we should be opening this and putting it into the cup?
There's no special techniques.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there's no special techniques, then I will prepare.
Yeah, the only way that we open a can differently than anyone else is to do QA on the can itself.
Is that a department?
Oh yeah, you better believe it. Yeah, packaging quality is very important.
So hopefully these are cold enough.
We shall see.
They had that hour and a half while we waited for Jerry.
That's true.
Shit!
That's grotesque. Oh my goodness. That smell is out of control.
Yeah,
That's good.
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Check the aroma on that.
That's the dry
What the hell? That's amazing.
additions.
Yeah, it's got a fair amount of dry hops. We did this on the
Incredible
Palate Brewery,
citrus.
which we actually can put a lot more dry hops in per hectoliter than we can in the real brewery.
Does it have different filtration or something?
We can accept higher losses. So
Oh.
hops just soak up beer like a sponge, and we don't want our precious beer going out.
Well, you don't want the hops to drink the beer, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We want some beer left over. But in the pilot, we can kind of afford to let some of that go. And that's the whole reason why there's like $16 and $20 and $28 4-packs is because you're paying for all the beer they dump down the drain.
Exactly. It's like somebody's paying for it.
Yeah.
Right? Oh man. Well, no, I would say the main thing, because we have to use this device, we have to communicate to everybody the parts that Twitch will not deliver to them yet in 2022. But the grapefruit citrus, for me, off the top of this is nuts.
Yeah.
That is luxuriant. And I think that's what you're talking about, right?
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
you can fuck with it. You can put a bunch in there and just be like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, we put 10 hectoliters in, we put all the hops in, we got 5 hectoliters out, we're good to go.
Then the new guy has to go in and scrape it out, I assume.
Right.
Yeah. All right, are we ready? Oh, here,
Cheers.
let's put it in. Oh no,
That is dangerously smooth.
it's so nice. And
Wow.
it has the nice, it has the IPA bite, and it has the big fruit and the incredible aroma, but then it has like the nice wheat finish.
Right. Yeah, it's got wheat and oats in it to give
It
it
has
that
the tasty,
creaminess.
yeah, it has the tasty
That's-
like
it's the
hefty,
oats
like hefty
that-
finish.
That's fascinating. Is that what's kind of making it smooth and creamy?
Yeah,
and-
having oats and especially malted oats. And as we were talking last night, these are naked malted oats, so they're dehusked.
Yeah, go into that.
Which-
Because obviously in our library we have, in my father's house there are many oats.
Right. If you know a brewer and you say Simpson's Golden Naked Oats, they will, their eyes will roll back in their head.
Okay. So
and-
this is for the true malt pervert.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. This is like
Yeah.
the inside, like if you are in the homebrew community, if you're a professional brewer, you're like, yeah, this is kind of our thing. We like this.
Right. And they're the best malt for snacking too. Like if
just
you
to chew
eat a
on?
handful, yeah, you forget your lunch, you just eat a bunch of malt.
You're not allergic to those?
No.
Oat.
It's good.
Yeah,
We found some.
Right?
Oats.
Exactly. But this is not like like we have over here. This isn't. You're not
these are
talking.
not
You're
flaked
not
oats.
talking about something in the way of a flaked oat,
No.
like a Quaker situation.
Well, and
Although
that's-
those are also good.
Those are great.
Soapy head retention,
Yeah.
right?
For those, they don't really go through our malt transport system well. So anytime we used to use flaked oats, we'd have to throw them straight in the mash tun, which I know, boo-hoo, like everybody has to handle grain. But
But you're making a lot of fucking shit.
a typical brew size will start with about 5,000 to 6,000 kilos of malt. So, 12, 13,000 pounds. It's a lot of malt.
Well, yeah. Any time, any opportunity to save some labor at some
yeah.
point in that fucking process.
What's funny is that's the most labor-intensive part of most breweries, and we've automated out of it. But our brewers end up handling more weight in hops in a typical shift than a lot of
that's
brewers handle
wild.
in grain,
True.
That's amazing.
which is crazy.
Well, because my understanding, and certainly if I go to a grocery store, I can see it. It seems like Voodoo Ranger is sort of like the tip of the spear. Like at retail, it seems like that. Because I remember being like, oh, that's cool, they're trying IPAs. And then now it's like, that's a fucking range. Because I got into you guys, I was telling you the story, right? Where there was that place that now is an utter meat market, and I don't want to go anywhere near it. But there was the place where you could get the $2 fat tires, and it was like, it formed the core of my social scene.
That's awesome.
Was hitting that place on Tuesday and then looking in the stranger to find some crazy punk show or like some band we'd never heard of and then go be their biggest fans. Like that was the Tuesday, right?
Awesome.
And that's when I got into, God, is it 1541?
1554.
1554, because it's like in my mind, mostly I just remember the taste. It's like the rich, bready,
Yeah.
monk shit, right?
It's monk urine.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's filtered.
1554 one bar. I feel like that's a very underrated beer because it is fantastic.
It's incredible, but it's definitely a food.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you have to chew it in there. But the amazing thing about it for me is just like that was sort of like my entree point into craft beer was those Tuesdays, and then I just started drinking other stuff by New Belgium.
Right.
And it worked out.
It worked out for us too. So that's great.
It seems to have worked out fine.
1554 finishes at 5 Plato. So
Really?
That's where that big chewiness comes from.
Here, no, tell the class.
What we measure in the
Chewiness?
sugar dissolved in beer is
Oh.
density.
Yeah.
A beer like that will start at like 17 Plato. Most beers finish around 2 to 3. 3 is pretty sweet. 3.5 is really sweet.
Yeah.
5 is like off the charts, and that's what gives it that big, thick body.
Oh yeah, and then that with the roast and the chewiness.
And it's really only like maybe 100 kilos or so of dark malt to give it all that color in, 5,500 other kilos of base malt and caramel malt, and that's got Munich and Victory and stuff in it. It's actually our most complicated malt recipe.
Really?
Oh really? Well, I guess you inherited it from brewing elders.
Right.
Right?
From the old country.
Right. That was sort of like a discovered, like.
Well, no, we actually had a couple. Our old brewmaster and one of our kind of technical guys went to Belgium and went to some old brewing libraries, and they found references to the mid 16th century Brussels styles were a white, a red, and a black.
Wild.
And none of the units
That's what was
mentioned.
considered back then. These are the types.
That's what you made or drank in Brussels. None of the units made any sense, though, so they couldn't really decipher a recipe.
Right.
But they found a good enough description from the year 1554 that they were able to then recreate a recipe
That's
that
amazing.
basically matched that. Then they found a much better recipe from 1546, but we had already branded it.
No,
so, yeah.
it's too
Change it
late.
now.
It's too late.
Yeah.
You got to
Like,
stick
we
with
went
it.
old school enough, we're not going another 8 years.
Well, okay, so this is, like, I could not be more pleased with it. So now that we have had it and we can't be primed, what goes into this?
Yeah.
What goes into the Foeslayer IPA?
So this one is big for Sabro. Sabro is kind of a new hop variety.
Sabro is like the belle of the ball right now.
right
It
now.
seems like in craft brewing.
But we've got brewhouse hops, includes Mosaic and Strata, and some Sabro, and some Mosaic Incognito. Incognito is another hop extract product, not unlike this.
Oh.
That comes in jugs, and it's like about as thick a liquid as you could possibly move around. We have a special incubator to warm it up enough just to be able to pour it.
Oh, just to get it out of the fucking jar?
Yeah, and
Better than like molasses?
yeah.
But it's all hop goo?
It's all the hop oils and resins. Like all the vegetable matter is gone, and it's just what's
it's
left over.
wax. We were talking about this before the show. This is like for dabs. If you want to smoke beer,
Sticky nose now.
this is what I'm talking about. Here, so look at
I
this.
tried some. I still can't get the taste out of my mouth.
Really?
Yeah.
We still have the here. Show them this goop, Josh. This is horror.
So this is a different kind of extract. It's called salvo. This is where they
Salvo?
actually, yeah, I know it's appropriate. They actually then split out the bittering resins from the aromatic oils, and this is mostly aromatic oils.
Oh, weird.
And the stuff that's in here, the Incognito, still has the bittering resins in, so you have to be really careful about where you use it, because if you put it in too soon on the hot side process, it'll isomerize, and your bitterness goes absolutely off the charts, like more than anyone can or wants to taste.
It's like eating that.
So
So this is, yeah. So, and I brought my volcano.
Yeah, let's just smoke it. Like,
So we're gonna get fucked up.
yeah, I got a terp slurp right now. Like, boom, let's do it.
I got the hot stone and the torch. I don't know. I've never did that.
Imagine that would knock you over.
But you would die.
Yeah.
So we also,
so you would be obliterated.
yeah, no,
You would become very briefly.
Right.
You would become a star, and
a
then you would
black
be
hole.
gone.
Yeah, it'd be down to a single point of light.
Look at this goop. I mean, it's gonna. I'll try it after we try our own. I will try it.
I don't even want to try our own. This is
Yeah.
too good.
Well, no,
you don't
like,
have to.
Foeslayer
It
is
is
way
worth
too
the try.
good right now. Like
It is worth the try.
like it's amazing. This is
out of control.
I've always said a good brewer tries everything. And
Well,
then,
yeah.
you know,
Well, I mean, listen. We'll have to send you a link to the episode where we ate a bunch of bugs.
I remember that one.
all right.
So there is a, like, D&D has different settings in it, and one of them is sort of like a post-apocalyptic desert wasteland where there's like no. It's basically like the opposite of regular D&D. Like all your stats are crazy. Like everybody from there, they had to make it mechanically so you couldn't take characters from there and put them somewhere else.
Right.
Like everything in there was fucked. Like regular bugs, you would see a bug and you would die. Regular bugs, everything on this thing has got crazy mind powers. They got feathery tendrils. They'll put them on you. Now you're dead.
Right. Actually.
Anyway, all I'm saying is that we were like, okay, well, let's make a dark sun beer. But it's like, before we do that, we got to figure out, what bugs taste good. Very few.
Yeah. Great source of protein, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys
I'd
are also
rather have a
welcome
steak.
to use that.
Oh, well,
That's yours
you
to
know,
use
you know.
for anything you might brew.
That's a cultural thing.
Yeah, true.
oh my God. It was like, I am glad that it happened, but I am not
glad you are.
I am not glad that I did it.
I know Josh is glad it happened.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, Josh enjoyed it
Yeah, immensely.
Enjoyed the flavors. It
no.
was the actual eating of bug wings and stuff.
Yeah, it was the torturing
yeah.
us that
Very rarely does
enjoyed.
one wish to eat a wing of an insect. It's rare, is what I'm saying. But that's the thing when you're saying like a brewer can try everything. Like
we have tried. We've gone above and beyond.
yeah, some of these had weird, like not bad tastes.
Yeah. Like the cricket was like barbecued.
This shocked the hell
And
out of
meat?
me. It was savory and rich, like meat. That was the cricket, and then there was this worm that tasted like a rich cashew nut.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was good, but not all of them were like that.
Well, now you're prepared for the post-apocalyptic world, you know?
No, exactly.
Just wait for this.
I'm primed. Oh no, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right, now I'm gonna finish this up.
So we also did 2 different dry hops.
Yeah, I think this is pretty cool.
So this has both a mid-firm and a post-firm dry hop.
Yep.
Mosaic for the mid-firm and Mosaic cryo hop, which is
I keep seeing cryo hop, and I keep seeing beers that advertise themselves as having cryo hops. I assume it's a powder.
so it's still pelletized hops.
Oh, okay.
They've just managed to figure out like what parts of the hop are not really value added for flavor or aroma, and
for
take
weight?
a lot of that stuff out
Yeah.
for weight. So they're just delivering the best parts of the hops, the choicest.
Exactly. USDA choice.
Why
USDA choice.
why switch between cryo hop for one part and then regular hop like of the
So
Mosaic?
you kind of have to balance out like how much you want to put in there without losing all that beer, like we were talking about, and how expensive they are. If we did all cryo hop beers,
okay.
because they're like twice the expensive.
Oh yeah, because it's for weight, it's more hot.
processing.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then post-fermentation dry hop is Sabro and Mosaic. But the mid-ferm is the one that's interesting because that's where you get the biotransformative power of the yeast to create some different flavors and aromas. And that's where you get the biggest part of that tropical fruitiness from.
Well, it's ridiculous. Like this is as I described last night. I am not unfamiliar with beer. I drink it often.
Right.
That's the juiciest IPA I've ever had.
Yeah, it turned out really good. I'm proud.
Like
it's great.
It's shocking, but this is the best part. So often on the show,
I agree, Ryan. Post fermentation, dropping a new album 2022.
but I mean, basically, generally speaking, like with the treasures that we manufacture on the site, outside of the occasional roving band of SCA people who come to the camp, most people don't get a chance to have the stuff that we try on the show. But you're actually going to be people will be able to grab it from you guys online.
Yeah, so first it will be at PAX East.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna have it at PAX East, which you can come get it, actually have the can in hands right away. We are actually gonna sell it online too, starting the 21st, so day of PAX.
Okay, so really like right at the jump off.
Yep.
Yeah.
First day.
We timed it that way for a reason.
Oh my gosh.
Now, however, because of
Blue laws.
there's about 10 states we can ship to at this moment. However, it changes almost weekly.
Really?
It changes all
Are
the
people
time.
just going through and like saying like, why do we have this law type situations?
Well, California came and went. It might come back next week. I don't know.
So many of
Hold on,
those
it was
laws are-
available and then went away again?
So yeah, the law
What
was.
the hell?
So contact your politician. Basically, California, you had to have a location within California to be able to ship in California, and we
All
had
right.
Magnolia, and that Magnolia has closed for the time being, and now we can't.
Oh, I see. So it's part ancient weirdo law and then part protectionism.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But we did enough where, so it's about 10 states we'll be able to ship to come the 21st. But otherwise, PAX is where most of it's going to be at.
Oh man, I'm super pleased. And you can like purchase it there.
Yep.
So cool.
I'm gonna purchase my own beer. And it's like typically when I come home, it's a lot of board games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
it's gonna be a bag of beer.
I don't have any space.
Yeah.
All right, here. Now, do we need other glassware? Probably.
Got some hanging there on the hooks inside. The steins.
You got the. This is incredible.
Prepared.
Engineering right there.
You beautiful boy.
Yeah, lady says can't ship to Washington. Sadly, we can't ship to Washington.
Can't ship to Washington.
Yeah,
All right.
that's the sad one. The sad state that we can't ship to.
Yeah, that's the deepest irony. Mm-hmm. The only way to get it here is for you to bring it in your luggage.
Yeah.
However,
Which we did.
come PAX West.
Come PAX West.
Yeah.
If you're at the PAX East booth for Voodoo Ranger, you'll be able to vote on some or suggest names
Yeah. So
for the PAX West beer.
yeah, at the Voodoo Lounge, at Voodoo Ranger Acquisitions Incorporated Lounge at PAX, we'll actually have an area where you can actually input a name
Absolutely.
to name the next beer.
Well, that's very traditional, obviously, for the stream.
Yep.
But that is to say that West will have a different beer.
Yep.
Is that
West
being
will have a different
exclusively
beer.
revealed on the program today?
Is now, yes.
Now, so now that we have had the best IPA of all time,
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we go? Yeah. Like how do we go?
how do we transfer to the stuff that we made
The non
under this table?
We just pour it out of the.
You gotta give yourself more credit.
Here, so what do we have over there in the on the tap? Some zesty.
This is Love Sarl actually.
Oh, so this is our Sarlacc digestive fluid.
Okay.
So you guys came on a great day.
This was our IPA, and it's mostly it's Vienna and Pilsner, with a little bit of rye. We went with an American Ale 2 yeast just to give it a little more tardy and nutty flavor.
I thought that would be what the fluid.
And we're coming back with Tomahawk on this one and Sriracha Ace for the hops.
All right. Well, here, let me head over there.
Times New Ponin said, "How will we know what to name it without knowing anything about the beer?"
That's
The actual name could sway
Could
what
sway
the
the
beer.
beer.
Exactly
It
right.
will be an IPA of sorts.
yeah.
So
In the
that's base.
Voodoo Ranger line,
Yep.
there are expectations.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. All right. It has that digestive fluid color.
Gross.
Oh boy. All right. Now, be gentle with us.
What are the specs on this one?
Vienna, Pilsner, and a little bit of rye. It's 50-50 Vienna and Pilsner.
Okay.
A little bit of rye, and then Tomahawk was the bittering, and Sriracha Ace was right at the 10 minutes in to give it a little bit of flavor and aroma.
It's pretty.
I'm glad you think so. I feel I have. It's been a very long time since I've felt like I was taking a test. And
If you guys ever needed these analyzed, you could send me a lab sample.
What the hell is this?
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. All right. Well.
Because you can ship lab samples through the mail as long as they're clearly labeled as not for consumption.
Yeah.
If you happen to end up consuming
God,
them,
you know what? Yeah, I hadn't even considered that because here. So how does it work? Something happened.
What fucking fermenter was this in 54?
We have a haunted fermenter.
A haunted fermenter?
Yeah.
it's got some isoamyl
Yep.
I was just gonna say. So this is the
Which
when
some
the
people
when the
like.
professional comes in, they'll bring it down to that's the banana clove thing.
That's the banana thing.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clove is eugenol.
There's the banana, right to the face.
I don't hate it, but
I love it. As someone, I like triples.
There's really
so,
nothing
like,
wrong with this beer.
yeah, I was just gonna say because sometimes when you get that aroma over the top, I'm like, okay, something haunted happened. No, that tastes like a good Belgian, honestly.
And it's got a nice bitterness that's, it's clean, it's not harsh,
Oh, thank God.
it's pretty well balanced.
Oh my God.
So just so you know, I am a Great American Beer Festival judge also.
Oh, well, God.
Yep.
Dude, that's what we need.
Yeah, this would
Needs
get
us
like
for
a
like a
2.
whole week.
This is
out
what
of
this
10.
is what we need here. So how does that judging panel work? Like, what does the scoring go to?
So it's not really a scoring thing. It's an elimination kind of thing.
Oh, it's more like a battle royale.
Yeah. So, let's say there's 600 entries in the hazy IPA category, for example.
Oh, you got to get harsh up front.
Yeah. You have to be like sucks,
Oh.
dece, sucks, dece, and then, and it has to move fast. You only have 4 days to get through 10,000 beers.
Jesus Christ.
It's a machine. It's unreal.
But human beings aren't machines. I assume at the end of this process, men and women are ruins.
Some of them are, for sure. You got to train for it. You got to be an athlete,
You got to want it.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of montage.
Yes, there has to be a montage before each sip.
Oh God, what a comfort. I was definitely, when I smelled it, I was like, okay. But now it's like, now that a smart person has had it and enjoyed it, I'm like, there are some subtle notes.
Yeah.
It's almost the smell is almost a cider.
Yeah, it's a spicy, the clove spicy cider type thing. It has like a mulled beer sort of vibe.
Well, I like the Vienna malt because it gives it a little bit of body without making it chewy, Gives it a nice floor.
Oh, God, it turned out okay, everybody.
I love triples, and this reminds me of.
It's in that space.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that certainly when we were putting it together, we wanted to have some odd inflections in it, just because at the end of the day, it was designed to be a digestive fluid. So we wanted to come at it in some oblique ways. But I'm glad that.
Yeah, Ryan, you could come in and get a sample.
Oh my gosh, dude, this is Ryan's shit. Oh, he would love this. This is very, very Ryan. That's his zone.
This really does fit the name really well. Digestive juice.
Yeah, right. But like in a good way.
Well, is that Love Starla actually?
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome.
No, I'm saying, but that's the level of quality
Yeah.
that you're gonna get
Right.
when people come to the booth.
It takes 10,000 years to make it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. that process.
Yeah.
It's like there's all kinds of
Right.
fallen foes
Yeah, lives are
inside this
lost.
liquid. It's nutrient rich.
I loved, I lost, I lived again during the making of this.
Yeah. Now, how strong is it?
Oh yeah.
5%.
Oh.
Okay.
I like sessionable beers. I don't need the
Yeah.
8, 9, 10s anymore.
We've sort of gotten into this. If the theme demands it, the chat is going to make it happen.
Right.
It's going to go north. But generally speaking, a lot of times when I'm going into the store, it's like when we were at Ruben's last night. If I see a big number, I just tend to avoid it
Right.
for the most part.
Get a small pour.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, that's what we were doing. It was
Get the
all
tulip.
small little pours, right? Yeah.
Right.
The longer we've been in the industry, I feel like I'm going lower and lower to lagers and just pilsners, and that's it.
Yeah.
Clean lagers.
That's like the end game, right?
It really is.
It's like we were talking about it before. We were talking about Hellbent, which is a great local brewery that has
Yeah.
a bunch of great stuff you should try, right? But it's like, so Hellbent has some cool IPAs and some neat stuff, but then you get down. Oh, hey man, what's up?
Ryan Hartman.
Well, I'm gonna try a triple.
Yeah. It's definitely got those triple characteristics.
I heard there's nothing wrong with this beer, and I was like, I've got to drink it. Put that on the can. Which one?
This one.
Left one. But it's like Hellbent when they do some cool stuff, but then they deliver a Kolsch or a Pilsner, and you're like, okay, that's mastery, right?
That's what the brewer wants to do, the
Yeah.
whole time.
That's the fantasy, right?
It's super smooth.
Is to execute, is just to join the
nothing wrong with
tradition
that
and
beer.
execute something, right?
That's calling me out.
There's
on the,
nothing
low
wrong with
ABV.
this beer. As much as I'll say. No, it's good. It's real good.
Exactly. It's got the Ryan stuff, right? No,
It doesn't
5%.
have, the malty syrupiness of a triple. It's
Right.
definitely a lighter body.
Yeah. But it has the flavor profile. It has a lot of the stuff that you would like in those bigger ones.
Golden monkey.
Yeah.
Chat's calling me out on the low ABV stuff because I drink Juice Forces, which are 9.5.
Oh, yeah, they're
Oh,
big.
yeah.
Which Cody is in chat. He is one of our brewers as well.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Cody's the third person on our show.
Oh,
very
welcome
cool.
aboard. Welcome aboard.
Shout out. Cody had a birthday over the weekend, so happy birthday.
Obviously, happy birthday. welcome. See, January is ready to co-sign for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that I'm glad. I'm glad that this turned out okay. Okay, Ryan keeps coming back from.
I didn't take much.
That is definitely like a real thing when you make a beer and you give it to somebody whose like opinion and you appreciate, and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But beep beep.
Uh-oh, we finally broke the pico.
We're fine. It's still overheated.
Oh yeah, because we have it like in the soundproof boxy sort of thing down there, and it's pretty insulated. Sure. And so we're asking a lot of this, we're asking a lot of this tool. And certainly, and we brew with it, I think, way more than most people. Like, our usage profile for the Pico, I think, is way beyond.
right, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we're the mayor of Pico.
Hey, could you go over what Foeslayer is again for some of the people that are just coming into chat?
Yeah, Foeslayer's hazy IPA. It's really big on hop aroma. It's got Sabro Mosaic in it.
Yeah, a couple ways.
A couple different ways in the brew house, both mid-fermentation and post-fermentation dry hop for different effects, or different flavor and aroma effects.
Right.
And it tastes super good.
Literally one of the best. I'm not saying this because it's like collaboration. It's like literally one of the best IPAs.
This is what I mean, right? So it's like typically on the show, it's the information about the flavor profile. Right. We contain it, and then somebody else can come in. Like, I'm overjoyed that Ryan was able to pop in and give us the cosign on this.
Yeah.
Because somehow this Sarlacc beer, I was like, I didn't know when I was pulling it out. I was terrified.
Yeah.
It's legit. Like, it's actually really cool.
Maybe it's really Sarlacc milk.
If you will. Yeah.
This is how you wean.
Sarlacc's milk?
From that rigid teeth.
Now.
But this is the thing. They don't have to take our word for it on the Foeslayer. That's the best part.
Yeah.
They can actually just go get it.
Yeah.
They can earn it. And we were talking about, like, in the future, the fantasy scenario for Eric and I would be to, build Acquisitions Incorporated and the Voodoo Ranger collab into a game that you can play where during the... did you not hear this part of the conversation?
Because we weren't there yet.
Oh my God, dude. And so the fantasy... you guys hadn't arrived.
Yeah.
And so what Eric and I came up with, which I think would be really, really great. We've had this fantasy a couple times, but we never have an opportunity to execute it, right? This will let us do it. So what we want to do is have the adventure be about securing it. Getting a hold of it, either making it like multiple paths, right? And then having that be, and then the reward for the adventure, playing through the adventure, is the thing that you made in the game.
Right. You have the beer.
Imagine if you could get an achievement and then drink it.
Well, yeah, you're in the Voodoo Ranger Lounge. You're playing the D&D adventure that's written by us in the Voodoo Ranger Lounge.
I am ready to run this.
And then after you go through the adventure, you've either made the beer
Stolen
in the
it.
adventure, stolen it, or found the ingredients,
Right.
and then you get to drink that beer because that's what's on tap.
Delectable.
Like,
That's why we put in big old family style tables.
Just throwing it out there.
but I'm saying that it's we could. This doesn't have to be a fantasy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, it's super, super real. So, Matty Smooth,
Yo.
if you could please tell me about like the QA process, because I know that like in terms of the panel, like when the panel had a chance to try the Foeslayer, the numbers were good. But what does it look like in like when that ritual is sort of made official? Like, what does it look like when you try to systematize something that I think, for us, is largely in the aesthetic realm? Right?
So that's actually a really good question. And sensory science is a real thing, and all over the food and beer industry, beverages, even pet food has sensory folks. One of the worst jobs you can have in sensory is wet dog or wet cat food sensory.
What are you talking about? This is real?
This is real.
They don't just like look at dogs
No, they
eating it?
I mean, looking at dogs is probably part of it. That gets you primed for.
Yeah, it's like we're making food for that.
Get you salivating.
But yeah, no, what we try and do, we have 3 sensory scientists on staff. We have a special sensory room that has like a prep kitchen that has, taps and bottles and glasses and everything, and a whole wall of little drawers of tablets of different off flavors that they can spike stuff with just to test you.
If you know your shit or
What,
not.
to jack you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, like?
And then
Okay, so the sorts of chemicals that we were talking about, earlier in this show, they can. They have to salt the data in some way? Like they have to.
So they have
test
to
and
check
verify?
the quality of the panelists. Like you need to be paying attention and tasting correctly and that kind of thing. So the other side of the taste panel room is this dark room with these booths that are isolated. With a little window, they'll pull it up and push a tray of beers through and say what they are or not. Sometimes you have to guess.
This is like regular science.
Yeah,
long
no,
time
it is.
training,
It's
too.
We joke that it's the pseudoscience because that makes them super mad. But the sensory scientists, what they're doing is they're doing all the prep and they're planning all these tests and they do all this. They write all the descriptions for the beers and stuff. But it's just being a statistician. They're taking all this data because we have
Aggregating.
Yeah, we have probably 60, 70 people that are panelists at the brewery. Anyone can be a panelist. You can work in finance and accounting. You can work
That's
in
really cool.
Yeah.
So after your first year, you get the chance to start training.
Oh, so as you you got to work there for a little bit, then you get to.
And then,
They don't
and
just
then
put you on
training,
that side.
Training is for the rest of your time.
Yeah, training is something
never
that will
stop.
be ongoing.
Never
Yeah,
stop.
I mean, I've
Right?
gotten 25 years of training at this point, and I still am not
amazing.
the best taster.
Well, you can't. And then on top of that, like just as an example, Sabro is a 2018 hop.
Right.
So even if you have your system and your schema dialed in, hops aren't done.
Right.
Like there's still new hops or cryo
Right.
or fucking hash.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and barley's being affected by climate change. So
Right.
we're getting barley
In
that's
what-
not
in
always
what- in
meeting our
what way?
specs. Like the regions that
The
can
sugar
grow it
content is
effectively.
fucked up?
Changing.
Protein content is messed up. The amount of enzyme in there, the friability of it, like all those things are changing.
All the things that the yeast would eat?
All the things that make it easy to make beer and have the same flavor every
Wild.
time.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a travesty. And
Grow seasons, grow areas are all
and
changing.
now malt just costs more. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well,
know.
so, I mean, my guess is that like everything else, getting malt from place to place is subject to the same dark laws that every other
it doesn't have
commodity
alcohol
is,
in it,
right?
but yeah.
Yeah. But everything else is expensive just to take things from place to place.
Right. Yeah, and even we get all our malt in like multiple rail cars at a time.
Yeah.
That will then transload up to the brewery in trucks. We've got 2 people whose entire job is unloading trucks of malt and sugar
Sweet.
in Fort Collins. There's another one in Asheville.
So how do you store it locally?
We've got a giant building with 19 silos in it and a whole malt delivery system in and a whole malt delivery system out to the brew houses.
I want to see this brewery one
like-
day. Like we have to go down one
We
day.
call it the Malt Castle. It's about 6 stories
No,
high.
I mean it's okay if we go there,
Oh,
right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
would love to have you guys come out there. I would give you the 4-hour tour. We'll taste everything.
We have to get Josh to bring the Twitch backpack and like
Here, so
we could stream it all.
Josh, do you accept this invitation?
Sure, I'll come.
All right.
So much enthusiasm. I love
Pause
it.
there.
As long as it's all paid for.
Oh no! I'm not saying. Yeah, Josh. Also, I
No,
want
Josh, you got to pay your way.
Josh, what I want you to do is I want you to
Buy
pay
our
me
tickets.
to do your job. No, that's not it. We will absolutely. Yeah, obviously, you goose. But
Just saying,
no. But because Josh has like the full on like the IRL streamer backpack with like the multiplex of the cellular signals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can do an episode of this show, and just like take people on that tour with us if that's like.
But we
legit.
also have
have a
a
streaming
media
studio.
set like this.
Oh well, there we go.
It's not like this.
It's a room about this size. Does not look like this. But yeah,
Sounds like it soon will be like this.
I'm
Yeah.
taking notes.
Consider it. Oh my God. All right. Well, listen. Something bad happened.
Oh yeah, an meet up in Fort Collins. That'd be kind
Learn
of
about sensory science.
Yeah.
So we have to train. One of the things that we train people on, along with different off flavors, different off aromas, and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
is how to taste in a scientific way.
Right. Right.
And that's really important that everybody uses the exact same method to taste.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
So that they're having the
makes
same
sense.
experience, and then they can, rate different flavors and aromas, or just say the biggest thing is it true to brand? Does it taste the way it's supposed to taste? It's not whether you like it or not. They get pissed if you do
This is
that.
different. Oh yeah. They don't like. I'm sure they hate.
like-
they hate bringing the humanity into it.
Well, they call it hedonics. They're like, no hedonics, please.
Hedonics.
What?
Maddie pulling out the words.
Dude, I gotta meet these motherfuckers. Hedonics. Hey, listen, you are an absolute slave to your body's sensations, idiot. What I want you to do is fill out this sheet.
Right. Oh, no, it's a computer with,
You think we could get them actually in the sensory?
I bet we could.
Room.
I bet it would be. I bet it would be a very complicated social experience.
Yeah, I feel ashamed. Like I'm like, oh my god, I don't know anything anymore. It's like a toddler going into
No,
taste.
you know
That's the
what's
thing. It's
fun
just as
is-
important to have new eyes looking at it as it is to have really seasoned tasters.
Yeah.
'Cause
But Eric is the technical brewer. Like Eric there's a reason he is the Acquisitions Intoxicated Brewmaster. He knows what's up.
We were
but he-
drunk one night, and I said, "Hey, let's do this show."
which it worked out pretty well so far.
Here, Matty Smooth, do not listen to him. He is completely legit, and he suggested this show, and now we've been doing it for years, right?
Amazing.
So, but all I'm saying is that I am like a complete space case. Like I am this hedonics person's natural enemy. I think that we might have a fist fight on stream in the studio, and so consider that when we're talking about the invitation. There might be karate.
Well, mind you, I'm training all the time, man.
You got dudes.
I'm out here grinding.
Yeah, no, you have the grind set, that's my understanding.
But one of the things that we could do that would be really fun is you take a beer that you've
Yeah.
had it, and then we slowly introduce tiny percentages of an off flavor to it, and then you basically taste to see.
You taste it until you taste that off flavor. And you're like, that's
wild.
your personal threshold for that flavor.
It's
This
crazy.
is a really dumb question, but how do you introduce the off flavor? Is it like a dropper bottle, like
Powder, it sounds like.
with
No,
like a?
there are companies that make specifically beer off flavors in a little capsule form, and they just go doink, and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
I did not know. That's amazing.
Yeah, and some of them are really raunchy, and some of them are
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
nice, but they're not right.
What's
But they're what you're intended to do.
Band-Aid.
Yeah, Band-Aid. Yeah.
Oh, that plasticky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiniest percentage, I get that
Yep.
one.
That souring. That
Souring, burned. Well, yeah, it tastes like something's wrong inside.
Inside me?
Well, yeah, exactly, inside my spirit. But no, I mean, because I've had that taste before, and it just tastes like there's something fucked up inside the machine. Like it tastes because it tastes literally like rubber.
Right.
Like some kind of a ring is deteriorated or something.
So
right?
actual burned rubber, that is real off flavor descriptor, and that's autolyzed yeast. That's yeast that essentially killed itself for food.
Oh, it starts feasting on the rest of the
And that's
the
a yeast cell
inoculant.
thing. You need more oxygen, more zinc.
Well,
Brutal
okay.
environment.
It is.
Well, yeah, I mean, it basically, no matter what.
gladiatorial combat.
Yeah, exactly, at the micro scale, right? But in any case, I mean, that's their destiny anyway, is to be obliterated by what they manufacture, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not really. I mean, we have to reuse yeast all the time, so we do so much work to make sure that the yeast is still healthy after fermentation.
Right.
That we can pull it out of the fermenter and reuse it again.
So we had worked with a friend of ours, Dan, who is
Signing bonus.
yeah, absolutely signing bonus, and then
Still have a can.
So down south, the flavor has changed significantly. Be very careful with that can.
Probably won't drink it now. but-
I assume now the can is distended. And taut, maybe in the middle. But when we were out there, it's like I didn't understand. So when we put together like a custom project with them and like made a smash so that we could invite people in and like have them taste like a specific malt and a specific hop and a specific yeast so that they could sort of train themselves to identify those parts of it, right? It was super, super fun afternoon. But when we actually inoculated what we had made like on this really cute like hand welded pilot system thing that they had,
Nice.
but he was pulling the yeast out of the fermenter.
Yeah.
Like right out of the bottom,
Yeah.
like a hose.
Yeah.
He scooted it under here and then just pulled this lever and went blah blah blah. And it was basically like
It's like
what we
soft serve
consider
ice
a
cream.
waste product.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you're brewing at mega scale, like that's not a waste product. That's the start of the next batch.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're doing your job right, you're making more yeast than you can use. So there is some waste yeast for sure.
Yeah.
And we have somebody that goes out and fills up a tanker truck about every day, and that gets hauled off of waste yeast. But most of the good yeast, and we measure it a lot of different ways to make sure it is good.
Yeah.
Gets sent over to the yeast room, and then it's repitched. And the yeast pitching room is right next to the brew house, and we're able to time things out so that while we're knocking out wort from the brew house into a fermenter, it just injects the yeast right on the way. And that is a brewing job. Like yeast handling and propagation is a 24/7 full-time job.
Well, okay, so those people are on. They're on the job.
And that's a big job. Like you are running all the time.
You'd have to be.
30,000 steps.
We're talking about real,
That's insane with that one.
actual. We're talking about you are at the behest of. They're essentially serving these tiny creatures. Right?
Yes.
I mean, ultimately, your business depends upon these microorganisms.
Right.
You're an animal wrangler of sorts.
Yeah. Rancher is kind of the yeast rancher.
Yeah. Last time we had New Belgium in, they were talking about like the pronunciation. I'm not gonna be able to do, but I think it was footer or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing now, obviously the Voodoo Ranger stuff, it doesn't ferment in those because
doesn't touch wood.
It's a different, it's a completely different process. It's a different style.
It's gotten that HR training. So
Yeah, it's kind, and it's sensitive. But the basic idea is that for that style, New Belgium has like maintained these giant wooden tanks and the culture that is inside them.
Yep.
And so you put wort in there, and it just becomes.
We actually don't put wort in those. We put fermented beer in there. Yeah, we'll ferment
like a
the
base
beer, filter the yeast out, and then put that as our canvas essentially into the fooder.
Which tends to be like a 1554. Would
Very
be the base
cool.
beer.
Yeah.
So then basically it's drinkable
Yeah.
beer already, but then that basically makes it a New Belgium beer, basically, right?
Well, and that's what makes it the sour beers. We've got 60 some of these fooders. Some of
Really?
them are, oh yeah.
Okay, because
You could have a dinner inside these things. You could actually sit down. That's how
What?
big they
Yeah.
are.
because I had pictured it from the earlier story in my mind. Like I have a very specific image of it. I didn't picture 60 silos, 60
wood.
wooden silos full of microscopic animals.
Each one of them has a completely different environment and give a completely different flavor.
And where they are in the room and how much heat they get and what their shape is. There's like
But that's the
volume
old,
to surface area
See,
kind
that's
of
the
ratio.
old magic.
Yeah.
Right. That's the old. Because we're talking about. I mean, ultimately, when we're talking about these fooders, we're talking about like indeed Belgian brewing in general. When we talk about Belgian flavors, like we're talking about wild yeasts.
Well, we inoculated those when we first had 6 like wine casks in 1997, and we inoculated those with a few different cultures, and then we just mixed beer into beer. We've never inoculated it again. Every time we get a new food,
Wild.
The same like culture, for lack of a better term.
it's the longest continuous culture in the United States, at least.
Yeah, because Bass is the other one that has, right? They have
The Burton Union system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, the real one is Rodenbach in Belgium, where they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these fooders, and that's all they make is wood-aged sour ale. And it's amazing.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And all the fooders are different. I don't think we have any that are
We've got a few that are identical, but they all, I've seen a lot of new wood around here. Most of ours were in the wine industry for decades, which is good for us.
Yeah, we were talking about that at Urban Family last night. That a lot of it gets the tannins out of the wood.
And then the winemakers don't want it as much because they
Yeah.
like that tannic character, but it's good for us because that's extra astringency we don't want in the beer.
Right.
Oh yeah, and we were talking about it before. Like for me, and certainly we discussed it on the program itself. For me, I find sour sort of challenging, but I mean I can figure it out. I can get there, right? Wood, like the tannins that come out of a wood, like that flavor note. For me, it just tastes like poison.
Right.
Like I'm just resistant to it at some level, right?
Yeah, I mean, like historically, that's your body's reacting to real poison.
Well, the pitch, we're not supposed to cook
eat that
food
stuff.
on it, and we taste it, it's like, well, that's bad. Let's avoid that.
We do
if
have
we can.
one foeder that's new.
Yeah, we
Oh,
do.
really?
Yeah.
Only one, called Stars and Strikes.
Stars and Stripes.
Nice.
Because
They all have names, by the way.
Yeah.
we name
Really?
everything
All
like
60 of those
the Cobra Horses
motherfuckers?
is the name of the brewing department at New Belgium.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, we've got the Cobra Horses, we've got the bottling line is Thunderdome, and the can line is Beyond Thunderdome.
Because it's loud. It's loud, so we call it the Thunderdome.
So you have the full. I mean, it just has to do with your volume, I suspect. You have the full canning line in operation, like internal to the thing. So out here, as I'm sure you've seen, a lot of times the canning part of the process, just because like we have a lot of new breweries that are like on the come up, right?
Right.
A lot of those that's a truck.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
mobile
the
canner.
mobile canning unit.
So this was
We have
canned
that
on a
too.
mobile
This is
canner.
a mobile canning line.
So over on your pilot systems,
The
you have a
pilot
different
system
scale.
is actually so small that it couldn't fill the pipe between where we send beer from to all the way out to the can line.
I've heard that so many times, it still floors me.
I know. Well, and I've seen bigger breweries where they're like, it takes 84 barrels to fill this line from the bright tank to the packaging.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's some people's entire brewing career.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, mobile canning has become such a huge thing.
And this was canned on a mobile canner, but we just acquired a can line just for the pilot brewery. So in the
very
future,
cool.
this kind of thing will be.
Oh, because you can basically execute cool one-off projects, right?
Yep, much easier.
So do you want to learn how to taste scientifically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Very much so.
there's a
I was gonna
whole
say, I have
process
some
to
now,
it.
right?
Yeah. No, I was waiting until we had some beers
Maddie and
together
I
to talk about it.
Maddie,
You asked at the right time because I was gonna get this goo.
Yeah, don't eat that and then try to
yet.
taste anything ever again.
Maddie, Cody, and I do beer like 101 tasting courses for people, and so
For real.
Yeah, just online. It's kind of a fun thing to do.
it's a side project.
Okay. No. All right. Are we ready to learn? So get your beer. Raise it to your nose.
Not yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
hey,
this
don't
is a
teach
full
the class.
sensory experience.
Let the masters teach the class, dude.
Here, let me hide under.
God
I didn't need a
damn.
TA, though.
No. All right. Now I am ready to be educated.
Atria Ventrica said, and in VR, we did a VR tasting event where they recreated our entire tasting room
shit?
in VR,
That's
and we
cool.
all got
All of us were in
Oculuses.
Oculuses doing beer tastings.
No, I was just gonna say because you had made the invite like to hop on the stream. We are both like very enthusiastic about VR.
Yeah.
We could easily do our show because your show, generally speaking, is later in the afternoon after our show when we're doing wargaming stuff.
Yep.
We could very easily don
Yeah, the VR.
Oculus lenses.
What's the
And join your
app
show.
we used for that?
Altspace.
Altspace.
Absolutely. So did you have glassware inside the VR?
Yeah.
We actually did the tasting like in a Zoom meeting kind of thing, but then did a little talk and kind of meet and
They
greet.
recreated the brewery in VR.
I'm
Let's
saying
keep going.
we will go to your VR brewery anytime you want. All right, here. So no,
Okay.
educate, instruct.
So yeah, you have to use all your senses except sound. We never listen to our beer.
Why not though?
Why not?
It just bitches all the time. It's just annoying.
It does sound really pretty though. A little snap, crackle, pop.
But you want to get yourself ready for tasting by looking at your beer, right? So visual means that you're looking at color, clarity, foam on the beer, and lacing on the glass.
Now, when we talk about clarity, like that always depends on style, right? Or
So yeah, and you're looking for it to be appropriate for the style.
Right, okay.
So you're not looking for it to be clear. You're
Right.
like, this is translucent to opaque.
Right.
And medium uniform sheen. And that is appropriate for this beer, so I give that a thumbs up for sure. Take a look at it, kind of take some thoughts about that. The first thing you want to do is just like the pop, just bring it up, one real quick sniff. And then that's kind of the most volatile aromas, like the sulfur compounds and the really high hop aromas will come out. Then we do the drive-by or the waft.
That's right. And this is distinct from the other one.
Didn't you call it something different the other day?
I don't know, I probably did.
Because we were like, maybe we shouldn't say drive-by.
yeah.
Yes, this is the
Oh yeah, that is different.
real estate,
Yeah.
looking at
The
real
dog
estate agent.
walk. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
The looky
something
loo.
more benign. Yeah, the looky loo, sure, the sniffy loo. And then each successive sniff gets into your olfactories a little bit deeper, and you're getting deeper into what is volatilizing out of the glass.
Okay.
So we do one bunny sniff, 1 second sniff, and then we do a little swirl and a 2 second sniff. Okay. Now we want to do the big sniff. Cover the glass, swirl it for about 10 seconds, and then stick your nose all the way down in there and give it like a 5 second.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then that gets all the really deepest, like hardest to volatilize
that's not the
aromas.
same.
Yeah, no, it's not the same experience at all. And you should be smelling different things. So we call all that kind of sniffing, that's orthonasal. That is stuff that's coming up your nose from the outside. So the next step is to do retronasal, where you're blowing it up from the back.
This is so funny because that.
What the hell?
That is also in like cigar culture.
Oh, cigar. Yeah, same.
It's called a retrohale.
Sure.
And it's a completely different smell, smells and tastes that you get when you do the same exact thing. It's fascinating, the similarities
Yeah,
between
for sure.
that. Yeah.
It's totally true. So what you want to do is pinch your nose, take a sip and get it in your mouth and let it warm up a tiny bit, because that's the key part, is you want it to warm up enough to volatilize. Swallow it and then blow out through your nose with your mouth closed.
That was the first time I got something really different from that one.
And that's all the stuff that can't volatilize cold. You have to hit it with your tongue to warm it up enough to volatilize and then blow it past your olfactories.
That's.
Mind you, we're also drinking
that's-
this at like just a chilled.
I think we broke cherry.
It's not really cold, but it's chilled.
So then we can taste, right?
Agreed.
So your mind can't tell the difference between ortho input and taste input. So you have to pitch your nose a second time.
We had talked about this actually last night, just like the weird power, like the superlative power of the olfactory sense over other senses.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. The olfactory memory link,
Yes.
you know? So we pitch your nose, put a little bit in your mouth, and then kind of let it just run across your tongue and swallow it, and think about not only the flavor that's in your mouth when you're tasting it, but the flavors that kind of drain across your tongue and palate as you swallow. You can undo your nose once you kind of taste it. I don't want to waterboard anyone.
Well, that's, for me, that's where the resins come through.
Right. And so
Right.
you think about how intense that bitterness is. Where does it start? Is it still on the sides of your tongue? Is it kind of like in your cheeks? Think about the sweetness and how sweet it really is. We haven't gotten to body yet.
Yeah, it's quite sweet, actually.
Yeah.
Especially in that what
When
we
you
just-
isolate your nose, so some of that is actual sugar sweetness, and some of it is perceived sweetness from the hops.
From the hop, right,
It's
the oils.
tickling those, yeah. It's not actual like
trick.
sugary sweetness, but it's
Right.
it's like the
It's like
sweet and
anise
low.
or something, right?
Your analogy is much better. So the last thing we want to do is check for body and mouthfeel, and this is where you'll get like how thick it is, if there's some spice to it. You'll get that here. If it's really high carbonation, you'll feel that on your tongue.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pitch our nose.
Okay.
We're gonna take a sip, and you're gonna kind of chew it,
Okay.
and then swallow it. And think about not only how it feels in your mouth when it's in your mouth again, but how it feels going across your tongue as you finish swallowing. And if you're somebody who tastes a lot of beers, this is a good way, and takes notes on it, this is a good way, go through each one of
reset.
these steps and write down what you get so you have like a reference to go back to and say, oh, I really like things that give me that piney, citrusy, but also
Right.
tropical and horse blanket. Here's the beers that I said that about.
Yeah, I want something that tastes like a horse.
So what's interesting is once you go through this process, and then you just want to go sit back and enjoy beer without going through the process, how do all the flavor, how do you, I guess, kind of blend everything you learned about the beer, right, and then just say, okay, I'm just going to
With the
drink
moment.
this with the moment, right?
Then you
Like,
stop giving feedback and you're like,
Right.
and then just drink it.
Just- yeah,
And
yeah,
look
yeah,
around
yeah.
for
Is it the last step?
No, so that is the last step.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you write your notes down and everything. And then you either go
Yeah,
it or
because
no go
you're
it.
breaking it out like bit by bit, and then
Exactly.
dissecting it, and then
It's a prism type
at
situation.
the end of it, you can really just
It's totally okay to not taste beer this way as well.
Yeah,
Just
and
to-
that's just, if you want to kind of baseline yourself every time you try a new beer, that's a good way to do it. If you want to just drink a beer, just drink a beer.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for.
I
right.
joke that Maddie doesn't let us drink beer for a very long time when we try beers. So
I'm going to talk.
I like it even more now.
Yeah.
Right, like that's the thing. It's just amazing.
Well, before I decided it was good.
Yeah.
Before I decided it was a good beer.
Before you really analyzed it.
No, but it's like if you wanna take Foeslayer super seriously, so this is sort of like the rule, and I think that this is something that Eric and I basically share. It's like if you're gonna have a hobby, there can be no bottom on the hobby. Like it has to respond and react and reward me like to the extent that I want to invest myself in it. Right. And so if you get something in a glass, that's like worthy and interesting and warrants investigation, that's a good hobby,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's temporal, it's like music.
Yes,
It's there and then it just is gone forever and you experienced it and you can remember it, but you can never exactly recreate that moment.
So we also are coffee roasters as
Oh.
well.
Yeah.
And that has a massive temporal aspect because it's just a crop that's the result of the way the world is in a specific place at a specific time. Like beyond that, you will never have that again beyond that crop. You might have something that's like it,
Right.
but we can't machine that. It's like with this, we can try to control it. We can go in there and mess around with it. These beans that you roast, I mean, that's it.
Right. And that coffee is more like wine in that aspect. You have, one ingredient and it just tells you where it's from and that's about it. And that's the only thing you can really influence.
You have that
You can
origin.
roast it differently.
Right.
Yeah, there's like huge variation there.
Yeah.
But I always, whenever I go to a new brewery, the first beer I have, I tend to do this. And then I go off of
Well,
flavor.
Yeah, go on. Just
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly about sort of like, it's about like setting just establishing the parameters.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
'Cause it's not going to go away. If you start with that systemic process, even when you try something else and you're not going through the full process, it's essentially, all that is like mindfulness.
Yeah, I just like the thought of breaking it all down and then just bringing it all back together and drinking the beer.
Yeah, getting
Like
the
that's-
hybrid.
that's
Well, ultimately,
amazing.
that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's the reward.
Yeah.
And there's always more beer.
And there's always more beer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely mess with a specific bean, and you can prepare a bean in a specific way. I have like 7 different ways to prepare coffee at my house.
Right. Oh, I've gone down a rabbit hole of coffee.
Did you get into
brewing
espresso?
No, just the different brewing. I mean, you've seen like it went from Chemex to my new Jap.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Your drip tower.
My Japanese cold brew tower to this new Belgian thing I've got that I don't even understand how to use.
Can you get your tower?
Gosa, can you grab the tower out of my office?
I just want people to see it.
I wanna see this.
I just want people to see it. Just because I want you to know that my man here goes hard. And you would not believe what comes out of this machine. Like what is extracted from this. Oh, see, Piril, of course. Piril has gone into vacuum extraction.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I get it. I think that's a super cool way to do it. I have that system as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously, coffee emerges from the device. I don't mean that. But what I'm saying is that if you have that bean,
My word.
look at this pornography.
Gaze upon it.
and it's in the we've made a brew and it's in the fridge right now, so there'll be a little container at the bottom here.
It has a carafe.
And how long does this take to fill up this?
3 hours. So it
So
will.
you can't just wake up and be like, "My cup of coffee."
Yeah, well, so for, like,
is afternoon.
what we'll do is like on Monday, for the office, I'll make a whole batch, right? Because you fill this with ice and water. This gets the bean or ground beans.
And then that's your filter right there on top, right?
There's a stone filter right down here.
Stone?
What?
Yeah, we can take it out.
What do you mean stone?
It's actually like an aeration stone. Like remember how you used to have the old O2 aeration stones for
totally.
beer?
Yeah.
Same thing.
It really goes through that?
Yep. The coffee gets filtered right through there.
Do you have to change that out?
No, I mean probably after
Probably
a
wash
year or
it.
so. You wash it afterwards, and it's fine.
It's a rock.
It's a rock.
But
Wait, you don't wash your rocks?
you set it up so you essentially you twist this little knobby here. Water comes out, and you drip
What's the rate that you want?
1 drip per second.
Okay.
So 3 hours later, it drips down into
ritual.
here, and it comes down here, drips in. It's very meditative.
So clean.
awesome.
But the coffee, the result is so clean.
So it's like brewing with pouring it over and over. Same thing happens here. The coffee is actually filtering itself.
well, yeah. Once it becomes compacted, right?
Yeah. It's filtering the water going through. Then you get filter through there, and it is the clearest coffee or most
It's
clarified
magic.
coffee I've seen.
It's magic. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously you can prepare the same bean different ways. What I'm saying is that bean, that phenomena is momentary. That's the last time you're going to have that. Once that crop is done, it's not like that anymore. You can find the same notes.
Right. Well,
Right?
and then when you control all the variables with something like this,
Yeah.
then you're really showcasing those differences that come from the beans.
yeah.
What is that called again?
This is the Yama beer tower, or cold brew tower. The company makes it Yama. You can get it either on Amazon or at I think it's like a Espresso Coffee Direct or something. There's a couple places that distribute it. But they just came in stock.
I absolutely vouch for the results of this device.
I would just sit and watch that for 3 hours.
Well, I mean, it's basically when you're sitting at your desk, it's in front of you in the window, right?
Yeah. I'm just doing work, and I'm like, oh, look up, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So use a pick-me-up tower.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. So, I mean, again, it's like any kind of hobby you get into. Like you can really go as far down that rabbit hole as you want.
Beautiful.
And
Absolutely.
there's somebody down there just digging.
Yeah. Literally just giving you this cool stuff.
Somebody's inventing it, right? It's like, because you also have like the Chemex, where Chemex has a beautiful device, but it's largely like a big part of that flavor profile is the result of they have a very specific paper filter. Right? It's very dense. Like, much like the stone, it's like you'd be surprised that anything can go through it, but that's part of it, honestly. And I think it's comparable. It's just that's hot instead.
Yeah.
All right.
wanna try it?
Yeah. All right. Well, here. Let me finish my Foeslayer and then.
Oh shit! Oh, you're gonna go for it, huh?
I'll try it along with you. I already tried it.
I'm gonna dab the hops. So what hop is it?
So that's Chinook.
Oh, classic. Okay.
Yeah. So I would just get enough to like be able to see it on your finger.
Yeah.
So this is a new, but this is a newish product.
This is a pretty new. And the process has been around for a while.
Yeah.
We're just kind of figuring out different ways to.
Well, how to split those?
Yeah, how you split the resins from the oils, for example. But it still has quite a bit of resin in it, so it might.
Oh, come on, just get a little
perceive it
more.
as bitter.
Come on.
Might.
I feel like you're setting me up to fail here.
I'll try it with you.
I get more than that.
Come on, a little more than
All
that.
right.
See it.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
This is for Josh.
It's like
Listen,
wasabi.
you
You
made
just put it on your fish, it's
Holly
good.
eat a freaking hop pellet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I make other people do those things. I don't do it myself. Are you ready?
I already ate mine.
You already did it?
Yeah.
It seems like things are going well
great.
over
I
there.
love it.
All right, here we go.
Do we have any more Foeslayer here?
No, I might need some of the.
No, he can taste colors now.
You gotta.
Ah! Oh! Nah! Ah! Got it. Oh, God.
I described it as a really old stamp glue.
Oh, God.
You want me to hand me your glass?
Ah!
Oh, that helps so much.
Oh, no. It builds up, God, and then never leaves. Ah!
You know, I've tried it before, so I'm
Not gonna lie, I was tasting it about an hour after I had it.
It is alcohol soluble, so you're gonna have to bottoms up.
This helps.
Yeah, I love that. What amazes me is that it dissolves into the beer. Like it leaves no aftermath of.
If you want to use it too, you can just like microwave it for a few seconds because it actually liquefies a little bit just with temperature. You know,
Really?
it is like a wax in a lot of ways.
That's fascinating.
Now I'm curious if you did dab it. What?
Yeah, what happens?
Oh, God.
You're better or worse than a Switch cartridge.
You wanna try it?
That's the thing. You can't tell anyone to try it if they've seen somebody else try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Gom Jabbar.
I'm now 2 times in trying it.
Right? Today.
Yeah, today.
Yeah, we're going to Wendy's because you can't taste anything after that.
I can't taste anything.
So yeah, and Cody in chat mentioned that I have used this kind of thing to prank people before.
What?
There's actually a hop extract that's the opposite of this. That's the pure, alpha acids.
Oh, okay.
essentially.
Yeah.
And
God, is it just called alpha?
it is called
Alpha
Tetra Hop.
Strike.
Yeah.
Alpha Strike.
Yeah.
And our old assistant brewmaster Grady I went up to him one time and I'm like, dude, I don't think this is as bitter as well as last year. And he's like, what, really? And
That was wicked.
that
That was
like 10 minutes.
What a wicked man.
That's not even the best part. About a year later, I was like, we got the new crop in, and it's really not as bitter this time.
Come on. You're like
demon.
you're like pulling the Conan O'Brien Paul Rudd
Rudd.
thing,
Paul Rudd
where
video.
you just keep going back and doing the same fucking scam.
Yeah. Well, fool me once,
Yeah.
I guess it's my fault. But if I fool him twice, it's totally,
totally
his
his
fault.
Yeah, now you're a cool guy.
Yeah.
Now you're a trickster, a Loki tier trickster.
His face had to have imploded.
Oh my god, yeah. How did that work? Like if he did a finger of that, like
That is wickedness.
it just drop him instantly to the ground?
Yeah, he's annihilated. He became a hop.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Talp, yeah. So the way I would say that I would describe the taste as like the Crab Nebula. Like it's expansive, colorful. It moves in all directions. Like I have seen and now know the hop.
Yeah.
It does take over your whole
beginning.
mouth.
It is a
just
full
exists.
sensorium experience.
That will ever get down to the
hear it.
homebrew scale for homebrewers? Like, or is it just
I wouldn't be surprised. This is new and it's hot right now,
Yeah.
so they're making a lot of money off of
Right.
full-scale brewers. But homebrewers drive the whole industry.
right? Because I mean, we've seen cryo hops come down. We've seen hop shots make it to the homebrew scale, and I'm wondering if that. I mean, that's amazing. If
Here,
like,
hold on. No, Matty Smooth, what do you mean that homebrewers drive the industry?
Oh, craft beer came from homebrewers,
I see. You're saying that like the processes and the taste profiles that they pioneer move into the market.
And when craft wasn't a big deal, 1, 2, 3% of the market, all these malt suppliers were only supplying breweries, and all the hop suppliers were only supplying breweries. And hops are a particularly difficult business to be in.
Yeah.
So they hadn't had the incentive, but you could sell to a few breweries, or you could sell to 1 million homebrewers, and it's just a matter of finding the right packaging at that point.
right?
Well, and even goes to our own brewers and other breweries. They tend to brew at home as well.
Right.
So
Right.
Because brewing is fun.
Sweet
I
alcohol.
am really enjoying this though.
No, this is actually completely legit. I was so nervous.
Why don't you do the scientific method on that one?
I was. Why don't we?
Yeah.
That helped with the extra.
Well, it's killing it. Yeah, here. Why don't we do that? We can wrap up the show that way.
True.
Crimson, what we are going to do after this actually is we are going to take these gentlemen to a local brewery to show off some of our local habits and crops. All right, here. So we start with the sniff.
The post sniff.
So is that just? It's just a 1 second puff to.
Yeah, and not too close to the glass. You're just bringing it up to where you could barely detect anything.
Okay.
Right? We got the whiff, the waft, the drive-by, the dog walk.
I'm getting
The looky-loo.
apple cider.
Yeah, that's what came off of when I
That's
smelled it.
real,
Like,
actually.
So there is some acetaldehyde in here,
Okay.
for sure.
and that comes from.
Poor yeast health.
Poor yeast health,
generally.
okay.
Long fermentation, not enough aeration of the wort. So we'll do 1 second sniff. Then we got a 2 second sniff. Then we got the swirl and sniff.
Get a foam going on.
Here, now Petrus
Yeah.
wants
Ooh, I
to know
like
very
that a
briefly.
lot.
Petrus wants to know. I've got great news for you, Petrus 21. They want to know if the AI beer will be available outside PAX East.
It will, starting the 21st. If you follow Voodoo Ranger on Twitter or Instagram, you'll get a link. Starting the 21st, you can buy it outside of PAX East. Only in a few states, though, so about 10 states, unfortunately. Call your state representative if you want that to change.
You don't live in one of them. Road trip.
Yeah. Actually, we have a couple people taking a trip from South Carolina to North Carolina to get some.
Are you serious?
Yeah. There's a group of about 5 people that like met up and they're like,
They just
hey,
love to try the new
we
shit."
want to go do this. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, they will be rewarded richly.
Only if they complete their quest.
Yeah. Should they?
So yeah, we'll do the retro.
A little bit spicy there at the end there.
Is that the rye probably coming through or no?
It might be.
WizBlizz says, how long to swirl and sniff? I do a 10-second swirl.
Oh yeah, for the big sniff. Yeah.
Yep.
I really like that part of the beer, the 10-second.
Yeah, that seems to get the most of the beer smelling aromas out of it. And then we do the taste. And then mouthfeel and body.
Yeah.
Clues, I don't think it is available in Florida. Florida has some pretty strict laws.
Oh,
That's funny.
blind cleric.
alcohol, that is.
Nothing would bring me more pleasure. Patrick Morgan, the bearded Tortuga.
I don't have a beer.
And then Matty Smooth. See, I love, Clues. Clues is right there. Clues is like, this is Matty Smooth.
Well, and that is a real clue. He's cluing us in. So, yeah, and if you want to find me on Twitter and Instagram, then it's at Matty Smooth.
Oh, really? So that's the brand.
Yeah.
We do joke that we're always looking for someone who is actually going actively in the beer aisle and wants a suggestion to hit us up, and we will immediately respond to
Hit him. You hit him back?
Hasn't happened yet. No one's done it.
It has happened to Cody.
Has happened. But yeah,
Well,
not
hey,
us.
so while you're here, specifically talking about like, how challenging a hop is, what a cruel mistress this plant can be.
Right.
There is a local brewery that I've never had a chance to actually go to the tap house, but you can find it at retail up here all over the place. It's Bale Breaker.
Nailbreaker, yeah. Oh, I mean, they're legendary.
you know about
Oh,
it?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
We had the reporter yesterday afternoon.
Oh, I'm so good. Dude, their porter is fucking crazy.
Well, they're
I got obsessed with it. Like I had a can of it, and I was like, "Hey, this is what we're doing today." I came into the studio for a show, and I was like, "Yep, this is it. Let's do this." It was out of control, but their Field 41, top cutter, bottom cutter,
Top cutter. Haven't had bottom cutter.
Leota May, it's just so solid, so crisp,
the
so
top
clean.
and bottom cutter are parts of the hop harvesting
Yeah,
machine.
exactly.
Odell makes a beer called Wolf Picker, which is the actual machine that separates the binds and leaves and stuff from the cones of the hops.
Badass name.
That's a good name.
And I love little references like that.
Well, yeah, that's the inside shit, right?
that is the inside,
That's
right.
for the insider to appreciate, right?
But yeah, I don't know where Bale Breaker is, but aren't they near Corvallis, Oregon, or
Yakima.
Yakima? Okay, so I mean that is in the middle of hop country for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about this last night. Washington and Oregon have in terms of American beer, have a completely outsized, responsibility in terms of manufacturing. Like Sabro is still a little bit kinky. Right. It's not a super old hop, right? And there's 1 million pounds of it harvested. That's a small one.
Right. Yeah, no, well, that's the thing about new hops, too, is if there's a new hop, the growers have to bring in, tear out old binds and bring in new ones.
Oh,
and
yeah, but those are rhizomes, and so they'll actually continue to grow, and in fact, they become healthier over time.
And they produce more over time. So the first year, they only get 25 to 30% of the full harvest.
That's what I saw on my own fence, right?
Yeah. Second year is 50 to 75, and about the third year is when they can start harvesting 100%. So that's a huge gamble for the grower to undertake about a new hop variety.
Our brewers come out every year.
Every year, yeah. Yakima, Washington becomes a huge party in September with all the brewers that fly in.
Well, listen.
Any recommendations for newbie/homebrews in the LA area?
Oh, as far as beer recommendations?
Stuff to try.
Oh, Green Cheek is
Green Cheek?
Yeah, in LA, they have.
That's the new stuff?
Their brewers won all kinds of awards recently. He's bounced around for a few places and then started Green Cheek himself. So that is kind of the hot brewery right now. I mean, the Brewery in Orange County is another good one.
It's just called the Brewery?
Yeah, but
I love it.
The guy's name is Patrick Rue, and so it's Bruery.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
And then there's, LA.
Ogopogo?
Ogopogo?
Yeah.
Dude, so you know what we need to do, Eric? Well, gosh, I wonder if I'm trying to figure out when that harvest hits And when they
we've
really-
been invited down to go to the harvest and
Tag
pick
you
stuff,
on with our brewers when they go there.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, I mean, obviously, you know, you're a minute away out there in Colorado,
Right.
but fresh hop around here is a huge deal.
Oh yeah.
And it would be really, really cool. It'd be really, really cool if we could get you back. And obviously, we could talk about what's going to happen at West and what's moving. But even there in late August, we're starting to move into some really cool fresh hop territory here locally. And you know, here that's like retail. You just go grab heaps and heaps of fresh hop stuff, and it's completely normal around here.
There's a big fresh hop festival in Denver, like around the end of September or end of October, because you have to package those beers.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I've done a couple fresh hop beers where I actually flew up to Portland, drove out to Salem, helped harvest the hops myself.
Wow, that's cool.
Put them on a truck with these special like boxes so they don't crush each other and stuff.
absolutely.
And then they had a team driver so they could drive continuously through, and I flew back and then brewed with those same hops. As soon, like the truck
crazy how
drove
they
straight
make that
through.
work.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
It's like the yeast thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
these are fragile. These are like fragile creatures, essentially, and they must be protected. So if I'm just saying, it would be really, really nice to have you guys back for a visit when we can put, you know, 6 to 8 solid local fresh hops, and then obviously it would not be on stream unless we can bring Josh. But there's a place called Brewers. Oh, remember I was just going to say, I've talked about Fremont before, right?
Yeah.
So past Ballard, past Freelard, and into Fremont proper, which is where I used to live, like back in the day. Brewers will have something like, 40 fresh hop beers.
Oh, that's amazing. I love
And like, I went there once with my wife Brenna during fresh hop. It was just like a date, but I didn't know how hard Brewers went. I cried. Like I got like the tulip glass of something, and I couldn't believe how complex it was, right?
Yeah.
Like now I have the tools. Like I can't even imagine what would happen if I utilized these tasting tools
Yeah.
on a fresh hop
Right.
beverage. Like that would be fucked up, right? Well, anyhow, it's been our absolute pleasure. Oh my God, I'm so glad I turned it okay. It's been our absolute pleasure to host Mr. Smooth and Mr. Morgan from New Belgium. Indeed, the very avatar of the Voodoo Ranger. This is more or less what we put together. It is the Foeslayer IPA. I will be very, very surprised if it doesn't make a splash. It is at the apex. I would say that it is the beer of the moment for sure.
That is one of the best IPAs I've had. So
It's startling stuff. You can come get it at PAX East.
yeah, visit the Voodoo Ranger Lounge at PAX East. And if you can't
Southwest
make it
Lobby
to
C.
if you cannot make it to PAX East, check and see if it's they're able to send it to you.
Absolutely. There are 10 holy states. And then more materializing all the time, where you might be able to secure it. Certainly contact friends in those areas. Get your mitts on there.
And remember, if you're at PAX East, think of some names for the PAX West beer.
Exactly. This is a ongoing collabo. And then, obviously your clever names may inflect something novel about the next IPA that we do at the next PAX show. Now, Brett Messy wants to know, how can we check if our state is one of the sacred holy ones?
So currently right now, if you go to newbelgium.com and you check for direct shipping, it will give you a list of the states that you can actually ship to currently.
Perfect.
And as of the 21st, this will be on that site to be able to grab.
And Joby1 Kenobi says, is having other NB beers a decent indication of whether or not that state gets it? No, because we can distribute to all 50
Yeah,
states.
distribution is different.
Oh, fascinating.
Direct
Yeah,
ship.
okay.
It's because of goofy ass laws that our forebears manufactured in a fit of pique
Yep.
earlier this century, unfortunately.
Very old laws.
Now, Piril, there is entirely a situation where your countryman Talp might attend a PAX show, perhaps at West. I will commit to you this day, I will keep 1 can of Foeslayer IPA. If Talp should come to the West Show, I will give Talp this. Yes, I am. That's right. Yeah, I will give Talp this can in exchange for his bizarre Scottish fisherman's fudge, and I will feel well served thereby. It will be absolutely marvelous. But hey, thank you so much to our guests. Thank you so much to New Belgium for an incredible collaboration. Obviously, thanks to Chris Straub for the truly ballin' label. Thanks to Dave and Kiko for the design and photography that you might have seen out there on social media. Yeah, I am at the apex of joy, and thank you so much for rolling through. Now, our guests might not know about the machinery of the universe. You're not required to do this.
Okay.
I know how to do it. Get ready. Huh. Roar.